Today we are looking at 6 games published by Amigo. Thank you for joining me today at Tantrum House Studio D. I'm Kevin Delp. Amigo just recently mailed us a package of a few of their games, and I wanted to share with you my thoughts on all of these, give you a brief overview of the game in this video, and actually there's one more that I'm including, and that is Llama. This was actually given to us from our international intern, Tina, so I'm including that in this list as well. Let's first, though, start with No Thanks. This was published in 2004, over 15 years ago. No Thanks is a push-your-luck bidding set collection game. Players are either taking cards into their supply or placing a token on the card in the middle to pass on it. When a player takes the card in the middle, they take all the tokens that are on it. At the end of the game, players only count the lowest card in each run of cards and any cards not part of runs, then subtract any tokens they have left. And the person with the lowest number wins. Now, this seems like a simple push-your-luck game, but there's some fun strategy that you can employ in No Thanks. The cards are numbered 3 through 35, and a few cards are removed from each game. So every game's going to feel different as you decide what cards you're going to take, and hopefully you can get some big runs, but you gotta watch out for the other players who might take the card that you need. Another cool thing is that you can keep your tokens secret in your hand, and that adds a little bit of suspense in the game as you're going around the table and players are basically saying no thanks and they're placing their tokens out, and there comes a point where someone might have to take a card because they run out of tokens. The cards themselves are nice and big, so easy to read, and the flavor text on the cards are fun to read. No Thanks is great that it plays fast, so it's normal that you're playing multiple games in a row, and it's good too that it plays up to 7 players. Let's move next to Take 5. Everyone simultaneously plays one card from their hand and then reveals them. The lowest number is played to one of the rows in the middle. It's got to go in a row that's higher and closest to the number, but still higher. Then the second lowest card is played, and so on. If a player plays a card that is the 6th card in a row, then they place the 5 cards in their bull pile. The card you just played starts that new row. And sometimes you have to play a card that isn't higher than any card at the end of a row. You can choose any row to put into your bull pile. After 10 rounds, you pick up your bull pile and you're going to count the number of bull heads in that pile of cards, and you're going to record that number. And you're going to start another one of 10 rounds, and you're going to record that number again. And once a player reaches 66 points, 66 basically bull heads, then the game's going to be over, and whoever has the lowest number of points wins the game. The cards range from 1 to 104, and there's a range of bull heads on each of the cards. This is actually just the classic 6 Nimmit game, and actually says it on the box itself from Wolfgang Kramer. And the game comes with another game called Take a Number, also known as X Nimmit. Let's take a quick look at that one too. Some of the main differences are that each row has a different number of cards. When a row reaches the number, then the row is filled. They take one number and put it in their personal number row. And the rest of the cards actually go in your hand, which you can then play on later turns. That's pretty cool. This feels like a step up from Take 5. There's just a little bit more going on, and I feel like I like that in Take a Number. I like that a little bit more than Take 5 personally. But it's cool that both of these games play up to 10 players. That's pretty amazing. Personally, I think I like them at the lower player count. Probably 4 players is my personal favorite. Both games pretty cool though. Let's move to Saboteur. Players are dwarves mining for gold, but there is a Saboteur, and the person with the most gold is the winner. Players are playing cards from their hands during the game, like path cards, action cards. Gold is under one of the gold cards, but you don't know which one. The Saboteur is trying to stop people from reaching the gold. This is purely a card game. It's actually re-implemented by Saboteur Lost Mines. Players are divided into two dwarf clans, but there is a Saboteur working for the other clan. But the sabotage does affect all players with the blocking of paths and things like that. Players are still trying to get gold under one of the gold cards, but now one of the gold cards also has a sleeping dragon that you don't want to wake up. The Lost Mines actually was published in 2018, just a couple of years ago, whereas Saboteur was published in 2004. And there's actually some other games, some other Saboteur games in the line as well, like a 2-player version. Now, the Lost Mines has just a lot packed into it and feels more like a board game because of that board and just all the components that are involved in it. Let's move next to Llama. This one has llama cards and cards numbered 1 through 6. On your turn, you play either the same number on the pile or the next number higher. At the end of the round, you collect tokens based on the cards left in your hand. And if you go out and you don't have any cards left in your hand at the end of the round, then you can actually return a token back to the supply. The white ones are worth 1 point, the black ones are worth 10 points, so you could actually return a black token back to the supply. That's pretty cool. There's a lot of strategy of keeping the same numbered cards in your hand at the end of the round if you can't get rid of them, because you only get tokens based on different numbered cards in your hand. Llama was nominated for the 2019 Spiel des Jahres, which is like the game of the year in Germany, which is pretty cool. And I can see why. It's been a game enjoyed by many, many players. Even the product catalog for Amigo highlights Llama. So for our last game that we're going to look at today is Richard Garfield's Carnival of Monsters. In this game, players are finding and showing off magnificent monsters to become part of the Monstrological Society. You are drafting cards from your hand and either playing them or keeping them to play for later. You find different types of lands that you'll be able to place your matching monsters in. There are staff cards and secret gold cards and things like that. Each round, there's even a season card that awards players coins and points depending on what you play. The game is over after 4 seasons, and players will count up their points, like the points on their monster cards, points from any secret goals, points from their gold coins they have left, and more like that. If you enjoy other card drafting games like 7 Wonders, I think you're really going to like Carnival of Monsters. The art and illustrations are cool with all the different monsters, and there are a lot of cards, so every game feels different. I would say out of all the games that we looked at today, 2 really stood out for me. One was Carnival of Monsters. I really like the theme and the gameplay for Carnival of Monsters. The other one was the card game No Thanks. I had never played this one before, and I really, really love it. I love the push your luck mechanic, and just the gameplay is just so fun with the suspense on what tokens are in other people's hands and how many can I get, and the runs and how that all works. I really, really like No Thanks. So if I had to pick a couple, these are the 2 that I would pick, but all are really good. And like I was saying, from their product catalog, they have a lot of games to offer that you can find at www.amigo.games. I'll put that in the description. They have a whole category for kid games. They have some family games, the family card games that I mentioned earlier. They actually have some of their past Spiel des Jahres winners, which is cool, and then some strategy games here in the back of the book. But you can find them all at amigo.games. And I would love to hear from you in the comments of any of these games that you've already played or would like to play. And as always, please subscribe to our channel, Tantrum House, as we put out more videos, and hit the like button on this one.